Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Public Speaking in Business. And right now, today we're having a brunch edition. We're doing it at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am so excited. I have thoroughly been enjoying all of my different guests talking about public speaking and how it has helped their businesses, how overall communication is such a needed tool, and that how everyone can benefit. And of course, I'm also so excited because tomorrow night, I will be launching my free webinar, my first webinar of many, to let everyone know about the Model Speakers Academy, or should I say the Model Speakers System of Success, because guess what? We have a framework that will help you be a better, more confident speaker. You may be asking, what's that framework? Well, it's the model framework. And the model stands for motivate, organize, deliver, engage, and lead. And if you want more details about each one of those, then you have to sign up for the free webinar. First of all, I want to know why you hadn't signed up yet. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Why haven't you done it? Because I've been promoting it. This is my baby. I'm so excited. And I know you will gain something from it, whether you are new at speaking or if you're a seasoned pro, there's something for everyone. And guess what? If you don't need any help with speaking, there might be somebody in your network, your circles, your friends who may could use a little boost, a little encouragement to get that confidence. And it's not just if you want to be a professional speaker, it's for anyone. If you want to get that promotion on your job, if you want to try to get that corner office, if you want to be a voice in the community, you know what? You have to know how to speak up, how to articulate your thoughts and your ideas. And that's what this Model Speakers Academy is here to do, to come alongside you, to encourage you, to help you be the best speaker, and just watch how it opens doors that you had no idea it could open. So enough about that. I have the distinct pleasure to have Steph here, Steph Mitchell, the Mojo Maven, and she is talking to me from Canada. I'm just so excited because I've had someone from Australia and now I'm blessed with a Canadian. So that just shows you how powerful social media and the internet is. You literally can connect with anyone across the world. And so we don't need to hold ourselves back. We need to just step out there and just be ready to share our voice and see who it'll connect us with. So, welcome, Steph. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samantha. It is an honor to be here, and I'm just so thrilled, and I feel pumped up just listening to your intro there. I just love this kind of conversation, this kind of connection, and we're going international. I love it.
Yes, we're not playing. So, tell us
Mhm.
about your business, your brand. What do you have going on, the Mojo Maven?
I am the Mojo Maven. So the world is full of coaches. There's lots of different ways to tune into your best stuff, but my particular mission as the Mojo Maven and the founder of Mojo Mastery is to help people tune into their best stuff and remember that they have everything that they need to live their best life, no matter what that looks like. So, Mojo, that feeling where like the wind is at your back and everything is clicking and your hair's doing that thing that you like and your favorite song is on the radio and you have a little strut in your step. That's Mojo. And I
Yes.
help people tune into that, which is inside of all of us every single day, and imagine feeling that great all the time. So I'm developing the Mojo method that's going to help people get there.
Well, that's excellent because, like you said, Mojo, that's a great feeling. And to feel that all the time, we'd be unstoppable.
Imagine the things we can do.
Hello.
That's
Wow.
right.
So I love it. I love it. So thanks again for sharing that. So let's get right into it.
Let's do
Why
it.
do you believe public speaking is a crucial skill for business professionals today?
And this is such an important question because the marketplace, no matter what niche you find yourself in, is exploding right now. And I believe that everybody was born with something really special and an expertise in something. But to
Mhm.
be able to communicate that and get the listener to really understand what you have to say, I think the public speaking is really the key. I mean, we were
Oh,
all born with this instrument, but we
right.
were not all taught how to use it. And for some people, it's easier than others.
Mhm.
But when we are able to properly public speak and share our message, it brings authority, it brings
Yeah.
credibility, and you can know everything there is to know about your topic. But if you can't resonate with the listener, then the magic is lost. And your voice is something that's unique to you. Nobody else has your voice. So it's in this offering, whatever you're trying to put out there, it
Mhm.
really needs to be as fine-tuned as it can be so that your message can get as far and wide as it possibly can.
Wow, that was so beautifully said. And I love that you said our voices are instruments because that made me feel like I need to sit up a little taller. Like our voices are instruments, and that's true. But not all of us know how to use it. And I think also people think that, well, if I'm not a singer, then my voice is not an instrument, but that's not true. Our voices, being able to talk, being able to speak and articulate, that's our gift to the world as well. And like you said, for it to go as far and wide as possible, we have to know how to use it correctly. So, wow.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing.
absolutely, and it's okay, and I think we kinda get to this place where, "Oh, I should know how to do that already," or we feel like, "Oh, this gap is kinda permanent," and we wear the hat of like, "Oh, I'm not a public speaker."
Mhm,
But
mhm.
if that's how you self-identify, you're already kind of getting in your own way.
Right.
So, realizing that, there might just be some blockages there somewhere for you to be able to learn, because it
Mhm.
is a skill, right? It is
Exactly.
something that we can learn and hone and get better at, just like
Absolutely.
any skill.
Right.
But it's that power to show up for yourself, show up
Mhm,
for your product, show up for your brand, and
mhm,
be able to transmute and communicate all the greatness that's inside your message.
mhm.
The voice is the way to do it.
Absolutely. And like you said, it builds credibility, authority, and that's the number one and one of the easiest ways and way to get trust is by speaking and talking. People want to buy a product from a human, somebody they
Yeah,
can relate to, not a blank computer screen, So we have to be willing to open our mouths and share our voice. So that was excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely.
So my second question is, can you share a personal experience where effective public speaking significantly impacted your career or business?
Absolutely. Well, I had the pleasure of working for Starbucks for
Oh,
15 years.
okay.
And so I was in their learning and development program. And I remember taking a course one day and seeing the person at the front of the room who was facilitating the workshop. And I was like, oh, I want to do what she's doing.
Mhm,
And really quickly, I realized, I really started studying what they did and paying attention to how they showed up and what the cadence of a presentation really looked like. And I really became like a student of it. And fast forward a handful of years, and life has its ups and downs. And I found myself in a completely different place where life had kind of made me small,
mhm.
and I was actually living in France, so I my everything was in a different language.
Yeah.
So, again, really struggling to, like, feel seen and heard and understood. It was a huge struggle, and it was at that point that I realized that I'd lost my voice. I'd lost my ability to project my message, to stand up for myself, to take up space. And so, connecting when I realized that, I was just like, well, this is my number one mission. Like this, if I don't have my voice, I can't make any kind of impact in the world.
Right.
So over the last 3 years, I I actually started, I didn't go from deciding to run a marathon to running a marathon the next day. I started small. I
Mhm,
bought a microphone. I started doing voiceover work in my home to
mm,
kind of start to refined my voice. And then I realized I was using my voice for other people's words.
mm.
And I realized, what do I have to say?
Right.
And I started asking that question and really pulling that thread and going deeper. And I realized that I had a really big mission inside of me that was waiting for the rest of me to catch up and waiting for me to find my voice so that I could broadcast my mission far and wide.
Mm,
So going from, being in front of people to, over time, you don't wake up one day and you're small. It happens in a really slow
mhm,
drip.
mhm,
And then that journey back to finding my voice. Now I have a podcast. Now I'm guesting on amazing podcasts like yours. and making my living sharing my message with my voice as a mojo maven, as a podcaster, as a speaker. I'm on stages, I'm in
Wow.
panels, and that voice really allowed me to be the medium for my message as opposed to being a writer or a painter or
Hmm.
all the different ways that we can express ourselves.
Right.
My voice was my tool.
Wow, and that's beautiful. And I'm glad you shared your story, your transparency, because like you said, stuff doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes life can happen and we shift and, we wake up one day and it's like, dang, how did I get here? But
100%.
right. The beautiful thing is you can always rewrite your story. You can always shift. You can always change. You don't have to wait till a new year or
Yep.
any special, moment or a new week. You can start at any given moment and say, hey, I want to change my trajectory. I want to shift how things are. This is not who I am, or I know I can be better. I have more to give. There's more inside of me. And,
Yeah.
you can make that shift. So I love that you said, hey, I saw how things were happening and I wanted to change. And you did it and now you're walking it out. And I believe success like speed. And so once you get that momentum, get your
Yes.
mojo, when you put that one foot in front of the other, I think things just start lining up. But you have to make that decision, make that choice, and take the action. And even if you don't feel it all the way, you keep moving, you keep going, and eventually everything is going to catch up. And then opportunities will start presenting themselves, doors will start opening. And then you're like, hey, you wake up one day and it's like, well, how did I get here? I don't know, but I
Okay,
like
yeah.
it so it works both ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's those series of small choices, and you don't have to blow up your life, and you don't have to decide, "Okay, well, tomorrow I'm gonna do a TED Talk." Well, that's not really where you start, right? It's
Right.
start with something that is achievable and
Yes,
work your way from there, and, it's that one foot in front of the other, right?
yes, yes. Wow, that's beautiful. So my third question is, what are some common public speaking challenges that business professionals face and how can they overcome them?
Oh yeah, no, a fear of public speaking, I think is really quite common. And, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, where how people perceive themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that self-image and how we self-identify, how whatever we think about ourselves is our truth,
Right.
right? So that mindset is kind of the first hurdle
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people wanna get over. So that links to confidence and nerves, and confidence is a skill as well. It's
Yeah.
not something that we're born with or, we have it or we don't have it. It's something that is kinda situationally specific. So, like public speaking, it can be honed, it can be practiced, and it can improve, right? So
Mhm.
the first time you're gonna public speak, you're probably not gonna feel super confident,
Right.
but remembering that confidence isn't about winning, it's not about doing it well, it's just about doing it, right? So, being ready isn't a feeling. You're never
Mhm.
gonna feel ready.
Right.
So it's being able to learn how to get over the nerves. So
Mhm.
nervousness is huge with a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
public speakers. We get
Yes.
in our head,
Oh yeah.
and the trick to get out of that is to get out of your head and into your body.
Mm.
So, doing, like, lots of like, taking up space in the room, doing weird things with your voice, jumping up and down, really getting into your body and out of your head so that your message isn't coming from your head. Your message is coming from your heart. Your message is coming from your body. Your message is coming from yourself at a cellular level.
Mm.
And being able to just kinda loosen up and get out of your head, that will allow your message to even resonate differently with the person who's listening on the other side. So it's kind of important to get comfortable with the ick,
Mhm.
with the discomfort and, like, observe it, recognize it, and then another really great trick is the Superman pose. Are you familiar with this? Yeah, hands on your hips, chest out, shoulders back, and there's actual studies that show that anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes standing like this and visualizing yourself, it increases your confidence, it reduces your blood pressure,
Mm.
and it just allows you to just, like, recenter yourself back into your body. So, just starting small, No TED Talks right out of the gate. Start by recording maybe a 1-minute review of your favorite restaurant
Mhm,
and then listen to it back and then watch yourself without audio. Like, get yourself through all that so that everything that your brain is going to try to do to stop you
mhm,
with fear and limiting beliefs and all those kinds of things,
mhm,
you've kind of worked those out in advance. And those are some really good tips to just kind of like get over those initial uncomfortable moments
mhm,
that happen to everybody. Because that's the
mhm,
other part too, is that when you do have that fear of public speaking, you feel like you're all alone. You feel like all eyes are on you. You feel
mhm,
like everybody's waiting for you to fail.
mhm.
So it's just these little tips just kind of help you get through and over that to the other side.
Wow, that was so good because I love how you started with, it's a mindset. We're in our mind.
Yeah.
And I love how you said, get out your head and get into your body and the movement and the pose, the Superman, Superwoman pose, and just how to, get it to the cellular level. Just let it come from your heart and just to allow the
Mhm.
message to move through. That's beautiful because a lot of times we overthink and we were, judging that the audience is judging us and they're thinking about dinner tonight. They're thinking about, getting dry cleaning out, before it closes. So, we're putting more into it than they're even thinking about. At the end of the day, they're looking for what can you give them? How is this message going to resonate or help my day, help my life? So that's how we should go. Get out of our heads and think, how can I deliver a message that's going to have impact, that's going to make them
Mm.
better? I don't want to waste anybody's 20 minutes or 30 minutes of their time. I want them to walk away like, wow, that was good. They
Yeah,
gave me something that I can actually implement in my own life. So I love all of those. That was excellent.
absolutely. And you bring up a really good point. And when I was working with a vocal coach, one of the biggest takeaways I got was when you're doing any kind of presentation, when you're doing any kind of speech, instead of thinking about what you're saying, think about how you want the other person to feel
Mm,
when they hear your message. And
right.
when you dial into that, that really helps take away all of the thinking part of it because you're into the feeling part of it. So that stops you from falling into that trap of like, what are they thinking about? Are they, am I engaging with them? And all these questions that we ask ourselves. If we can dial into that feeling part, then you're tuned into your message. Then you've really got kind of like a straight line to your audience. And that was one of my big takeaways.
I love that. Yes. Feeling. Help them feel your message. You
Yeah.
want to say it, but you want to help them feel it. That's great. Yeah, I love it. I'm going to have to add that as well. And my last question is, what is one essential tip you would give to someone looking to improve their public speaking skills?
Yeah, well, it's an essential tip, and I think that there's a few, but if we start by trying to find a public speaker that resonates with you, just
Hmm.
start outside of yourself in the beginning. Is it, what kind of TED talk do you like to listen to? Is there a speaker that really resonates with you? Is there, a local politician that really gets you fired up and really
Hmm.
connects with you? And then you want to start to break down what are the things that you like about them? What are the things that resonate with you so that you can start to kind of demystify and break down all of the little ins and outs of what a good speech kind of looks and feels like so that you're starting to create a list of ingredients kind of. And then put the mirror up and say, what would that look like on me? What would that look like if I were to embody confidence on stage or in front of a boardroom or at the dinner table, whatever your speaking goals are? Starting to visualize what that would look like on you is kind of the next step because that will displace all of those thoughts of like, I'm not a public speaker. Well, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So
Right,
just
right,
starting to shift that mindset back and
right.
starting to embody it a little bit. And then, it's like you said earlier, the universe loves action. So
Yeah.
start taking action, record yourself for 1 minute, watch it, listen to it. And then find a coach, find someone who is leading the charge like Dr. Samantha here, and align yourself with someone who can hold your hand and take you on the journey, because going it alone will get you there, but it'll take a long time. Right?
Right.
We don't have to figure all this out on our own. We're here to experience and we're here to serve. And community, I think, is the answer to everything. So practice, 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 getting out there, find an expert, and one step at a time, like 5 minutes a day. That's
Right.
all it takes. And then all of a sudden, you'll find yourself in 6 months spending half of your day working on this because you're so fired up about it. So those little pieces of change, and giving yourself grace, I
Oh
think
yeah.
is so,
Huge.
so important. And it helps us get over ourselves, right? It's that little dose of humility of like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can mess up and I'm still here and the world's gonna still turn and life is gonna go on. And
That's
I think that's important to remember.
Wow, that was such a beautiful conclusion. And I love the things you said. I'm going to try to highlight some of them. Find someone, like you say, you enjoy hearing to speak. And you didn't say mimic them, but you said kind of, find out what their recipe is, but then turn the mirror on yourself and say, how can I make this? How can I create this in myself? And so I love that, we look for inspiration, but yet we still do what we need to do to create our own version of it. And then, like you said, you got to practice, you just got to get out there, do it. You may feel nervous or shaky at first, but the more you do it, the better you get. And then also get a community, get that accountability, because yeah, we can do it alone, but it's going to take us a whole lot longer. And then we got to be honest with ourselves. If we would have wanted to make those changes, we would have done them already. So a
That's
lot of
right.
times, we're just delaying, we're allowing fear to stop us from moving. So we got to get accountability, put the words and the action behind it, and just make it happen. Stop waiting and just start doing. So yeah, I loved all of that. That was excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want our viewers to know how to stay in contact with you, how to get some of this mojo maven in their life. So share your social media, your website, everything that you may have coming up so that we can stay in the know of all things Steph.
Well, thank you so much. So, if you're feeling like you're maybe living on rinse and repeat, or your good days are a little too few and far in between, that's where the Mojo Maven comes in. I'm in the process of building up my learning management system to launch a course in the tail end of the year where you'll be able to have access to the Mojo Method, which is going to be an 8-week self driven course where we tune into your best stuff so that you can live your life on your own terms. So, in the meantime, you can tune into my podcast, which is called Pocket Full of Mojo, and it's available wherever you love to listen to your podcasts. And every Thursday, we come out with a new episode, new and fresh, lots of fun topics like empowerment,
Okay.
boundaries, resilience, all the good stuff, how to say no,
Wow.
all the good tips and tricks that make for a good mojo. So you can also find me on Instagram at most definitely, and that's where you can find daily doses of mantras, affirmations, motivations, and things that make you feel good, because that's what life is all about.
Wow. Well, I love that. I hope everyone was listening, taking notes, and I'm going to include the links to everything she just said because we all need some mojo in our life. And so I think it's excellent. I love what you're doing. Let's keep our eyes open for her 8-week program that she's going to be launching at the end of the year. And I think you just should be following Steph to find out everything she has going on so that you can keep getting that mojo so that you can have it every day. So, yes, thank you so much, Stephanie. And I also want to remind you to sign up for my webinar. The Model Speakers Academy webinar launches tomorrow. And you want to be there so you can find out about all the things going on with the model framework, systems of success, and get you ready so that by the time 2025 comes in between the Mojo and the Model Speakers Academy, there's no excuse. You should be
That's
on
right.
top of your game. Okay. So thank you so much, Stephanie. Again, thank you for the Mojo Maven herself, giving us that extra boost we need. And guess what? At 1 o'clock, I have another great public speaking business talk for you. So you got your brunch in, and then we're going to have some lunch. All right. So stay tuned.